Hi, this is Jody Shiravi at astropod_cast. This is my weekly report, and this is for the week of September 12th through September 19th. This is a very volatile week coming up. Today, I'm recording this on 9/11 on Thursday, and it is the anniversary of 9/11 that hit the Twin Towers in America. So we've had a lot of moments of silence for that. There was an assassination yesterday in the America. A man who is a conservative right wing who started a group out of college and went around and had conversations about things that the conservative right wing American politics like, and their values. He went around teaching their values, and he was assassinated yesterday in Utah, USA. So it was a very grim day in terms of violence is here. It's not a joke. People really are getting killed. And the last time I was here, there was a mass shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis, and that was little children getting murdered. So there's a lot of murdering, psychotic thoughts going on in people's brains. And this past weekend on the 7th was the eclipse that occurred. And we couldn't see it in North America, but they could see it in, I believe, Asia. So it was the blood moon, and it caused a lot of chaos because, again, it was in Pisces. It was a Pisces full moon blocked by the sun in Virgo. So the energy of the universe right now is very volatile, as we've been speaking about, with 3I Atlas now floating into our atmosphere, our galaxy. There's a lot of things floating around out there. It's not like this is the first new thing, but it is within our galaxy. And it's going to be passing by Mars around October 29th, I believe. And that is about the time that Mars will be leaving Libra and entering Scorpio to square Pluto. And we will get into that in a minute. So the energy of this week, starting this Friday on the 12th, is smooth in terms of the sun's at 20 degrees of Virgo. And it is sextiling, which is a nice, easy flowing energy to Jupiter in Cancer. So this is a feel good day, optimistic day, trying to find our way out of the darkness. So really use this day to enjoy yourself. Try to beware of others and your surroundings much more than ever before. Because if you are mentally ill and you're homeless right now, things could really be starting to stir up in your mind and your brain. So really watch out for that whenever you are in public spaces. Watch out for people that could harm you, because it has nothing to do with you, really. It has to do with them and the energy and how they're dealing with this karmic energy that's going around. That sextile is going to be occurring at 5:53 p.m. and that's going to be a feel-good Friday night after work feeling. So enjoy yourself. Don't feel guilty if you want to indulge. Go to sleep early or go out and hang out. Do what you want to do. So communications, therefore, will be optimistic and lean towards the truthful, because Jupiter is about truth and it is in Cancer. So be very truthful about domestic matters. And again, the moon is going to sextile Saturn then at 5:36 p.m. And then the moon enters Gemini at 5:38 p.m. And then the Gemini moon is going to sextile Neptune at 7:23 p.m. And then the Gemini moon will conjunct Uranus at 8:03 p.m. And then trine also Pluto at around Uranus will be trining Pluto at the same time at about 8:17, making a nice triangle there, a grand triangle. And so this day could be according to Virgo, being a very comforting verbal communication day. We could get good news out of the ether, possibly. This is a communication day, so really use Friday to communicate your optimism and how you feel for other people. Use it as a time to see that the world is at that point where communicating with your loved ones is very, very important at this point in time. So I would say Friday is probably the kind of the nicest day to have a conversation with someone that you love or care about, your family members, your friends. Have that day to have that conversation, and it should uplift you. And then on Saturday the 13th, Mercury goes into the heart of the sun, and Mercury's on the other side of the sun away from the earth. So earth, sun, Mercury. So Mercury's going behind the sun into the heart of the sun, which it does it quite a bit. So it's going to do this on Sunday at about 6:51 a.m. So on this day, with Mercury caziming in the sun, in the sign of Virgo, where Mercury is exalted, and the sun is here also, there is a shedding away, a burning, a phoenix type of thing with a cazimi, where Mercury is being rewired in Virgo, where it is exalted. So words here is your speech, the way you talk. Again, we are at the South Node with Virgo. So the way we speak to one another, the way we communicate has to be filled with integrity, because that is what Gemini also is about. And the Gemini moon is going to be squaring Saturn, who has slipped back into Pisces at 29 degrees at about 6:46 p.m. And this energy is going to be pulled into Cancer, as the Gemini moon will be shifting into Cancer. And that's on Sunday at about 8:30 p.m. The Cancer moon gets in here and immediately squares Neptune, who's at the 29th degree of Aries, where Neptune is at 1 degrees of Aries, and then Saturn is at 29 degrees of Pisces. So we are now shifting out of this feel-good energy that the Gemini moon was kind of helping us get, meeting it with Cancer, Jupiter and Cancer. We were feeling good, but now the Cancer moon comes in and squares. And so there's this blocked energy, like a padded room in a psych ward. And so here we are with the Cancer moon, where the moon is at home in Cancer, where it loves to be. And it's having this low energy with Neptune that is in Aries. And this energy is about emotional delusion. What it is that we love and adore and maybe obsess over, which Cancer can do, because Cancer, again, is a water emotional sign and is squaring Neptune. So here the Cancer moon is having a little bit of delusion and it's trying to work its way out of this box. So Sunday is very uncomfortable, and that's a football day here in America. And so I think Sunday is going to be really, really very volatile football day. And we've already seen some stuff happening in the first week of the NFL where there's some very volatile things happening that was kind of shocking, like the spitting on each other. just some things that were just a little bit crazy. So expect that a little bit on Sunday, and maybe even tonight, Thursday night football, it could be kind of crazy, because tonight there is some energy around on the 11th that again is very volatile, because it's a volatile day. It's a King of Club, Two of Club day. It's an all club day, which again is ruled by Mercury. Clubs are about the college student, about communicating. So, and then two is about um, being with someone else, having a relationship or having a partnership. Two is about it takes two to make a thing go right. And so here we have the Two of Clubs, but the Two of Clubs can deal in fantasy that is, can make them fearful. And so it's a fearful day today on Thursday. And so hopefully nothing goes wrong. Hopefully everything goes all right. And I am praying for all the people that have lost their lives this past year so far, all over the world. Just crazy, crazy war going on in the world right now that's just too sad when you think about it. And it's getting more real and real every day. It's becoming very chaotic and it's not going to end. And we have to try to fix this in some way by April of next year when things really are going to hit ahead. This discomfort of Sunday, the 14th, spills into Monday, September 15th. This uncomfortable energy that is really like we got an itch, but we can't scratch it. We want to do something, we don't know what to do. And then on the 15th into the 16th, Libra Mars is going to oppose Chiron and Aries at the very last degrees of Libra and Aries, both cardinal signs. So here we are dealing with our energy and how we speak to ourselves and how we heal ourselves through our speech to ourselves. Because Chiron is the personal healer here to help you, like a personal trainer, to help you through, talk you down from whatever it is you're feeling at the time, like a spirit guide. And then Eris is on the 16th when Libra Mars opposes Eris. And again, that is Mars' sister who was not invited and is supposedly the cause of the Trojan War in Troy, the Troy War. So, and then Venus is going to trine Chiron on the 15th and then Eris on the 16th. And Venus again is in Leo. And so this Leo Venus is learning to love themselves, not doubt with their hearts, and to heal themselves through standing up for what they believe in, which is Eris. So here your values will be towards loving yourself and standing up for yourself in your sovereignty and really letting people know that what you did to me was wrong and I don't appreciate it. And that's what Eris does, Mars' sister. So, and then Venus is going to be kind of catching up to Mars here as she shifts into Virgo. Well, really what's happening is that Venus and Mars are kind of been traveling together, if you remember. And so now Mars is kind of ahead of Venus because Venus again was in a retrograde for a while in Leo and went back into Cancer. And Mars was having his own retrograde with Venus partially trining Chiron and Eris at 25 degrees. It is again about self-healing and learning to love yourself. And then Mercury on the 15th is going to quincunx again. It's that little tiny triangle. Going to quincunx Eris and Chiron, respectively. So another pain in the butt day in terms of communicating with other people because you're trying to learn to heal yourself. So you need to talk to yourself in a soothing manner and then also respect other people's boundaries, which Eris will have a hard time doing. So this is that kind of energy. Ooh. And then the sun is going to move along and go to the same degrees on the 17th and 18th and have its meeting with Chiron and Eris. And then the Venus that's in Leo will make a show of intention in a positive, nice way, according to Rick Levine. So Venus here, who's having meeting also with Chiron Eris on the 15th and 16th, is going to jumpstart the healing and help us to learn to love ourselves and understand that if we don't love ourselves, no one else will. And that's really one of my big mantras, especially to my children, is that you must love yourself in order to be loved and in order to share love. Because if you don't love yourself, then you don't really know what it is you want or need, because you don't really know what it is makes you feel good, right? And a lot of times these are the problems with especially young men who are mass murderers at their schools or elsewhere. Most mass murderers are men. And I do believe this has to do with this lack of ability to share how they're feeling at the moment, and learning how to be empathetic for themselves and seeking help. I mean, I remember growing up, and one of the big things that fathers back then were known to do was not to stop and ask for directions at a gas station. This is before we had cell phones. We had maps, but even sometimes you look at a map, you might not be reading it correctly, or who knows what's going on. And a lot of men wouldn't stop, and that used to cause a lot of fights with people, I remember. So that's something that's still being perpetuated today, especially with the conservative movement, in terms of being allowed to watch movies that show how to express yourself if you're feeling a certain way, how to seek help, how to be yourself, and how to love yourself for who you are, because you're unique. Like every snowflake is different. So you're unique. So you're not going to find someone exactly like you to understand you, but you can find people that are close to being like you to understanding you. And I think that's what a lot of this um, Virgo South Node access is trying to say, is to release this sense of needing everything to be perfect. Um, Even in mathematical equations, you end up having not an equal sign, but a wavy equal sign saying around, or this is sort of near that. So nothing is absolute in the world. And I think the soon as we understand that, the better we'd all get along with each other, and especially with our children, and help our children get out into the world in a healthy way, not in a combative, competitive, uh, negative way, but to get out there, know you're part of a community that supports you, and we all want the same things, right? And there's plenty to go around as long as you don't waste, you know. So a lot of times, a lot of countries that have a lot of money waste a lot of their food, waste a lot of things that they don't have to. And I believe that's another thing that's happening with this Pisces Virgo axis, is that Virgo is of service and also very about eating healthy, eating the right foods. And Pisces is about dreaming about how to have a better world, and Virgo can help make that happen and bring it down to earth, because they're both mutable water, mutable earth. So together they can change and evolve and be flexible. And so that's what these 18 months is about, teaching us about flexibility. And now into the equinox, since the South and North Node have moved into South Node into Virgo, North Node into Pisces. This is the first um, kind of big events happening right now because of the season that we're into. Then we head into the 16th, and on this day, Cancer moon conjuncts Jupiter at 3 p.m. Eastern time. All my times are Eastern. And this again is a huge optimistic day, because again, the moon is our collective emotion. It's home in Cancer. Just got through that little square it had, so it's feeling a little ruffled, a little sensitive, and now it's meeting up with Jupiter. It's like, hey, the coach, the psychiatrist saying, hey, everything's going to be all right. The therapist is saying everything's going to be okay. It's just a fading thing that just occurred. Don't worry about it. And so that's where Cancer moon is at. And then the 17th, it turns into the Leo moon at 1:19 a.m. early on the 17th. And it is preparing for the eclipse in Virgo, which is occurring on the 21st. So as it heads into Leo, it begins to prepare. The moon is preparing for its cazimi with the sun. And on the 27 degrees, Mercury in Virgo is opposite of Saturn. So Neptune is still about 1 to 0 degrees of Aries. So Saturn's going to move pretty far back. I think it's going to go all the way back to 15 degrees. And that's a cardinal sign, 15 degrees. It's a point of fame for the fixed signs, where it's a point of the world axis. So meaning it affects the whole world, not just the people in that sign. So this is going to be kind of huge. After the 15th and everything happening on the 15th, we're going to head into the eclipse on the 21st of September. That's going to be huge. So all this week coming up is really, with all these planets having all these aspects, is preparing us for this eclipse to also have some aspects like meeting up with the South Node and going opposite of Neptune and Saturn in its way. So it's really a hectic, volatile time, but the outer planets are retrograde, but again, doesn't matter so much because they move so slowly that the retrograde doesn't really do too much, besides we know we get to repeat it when we come back over here again. The other big thing on the 16th is that the Virgo sun is going to be quincunxing Chiron and Eris for 3 days. So again, the sun is about who we are innately. So we're having again this thing where we have to learn to heal ourselves, release and let go. Because again, this is the sun in Virgo, opposite of Pisces, and it is about releasing, letting go, and believing that spiritually it's the right thing to do, and that's all you can do is have faith, with especially with Saturn in Pisces, shaping, giving shape and structure to our dreams. We have to have faith in the universe, in wanting good things for us, in wanting to hear what we have to say and being able to give that to us. So we have to have faith in that. So really, really, again, buckle down. It's going to be very volatile emotionally, and you'll see it in the mundane world again with people doing things that just seem so drastic that you just wonder, why would you do something like that? Then on the 17th, the Leo moon moves in at 1:19 a.m., preparing for the Virgo new moon eclipse, which is getting ready to happen on the 21st. And at 27 degrees, Mercury in Virgo is going to go opposite of Saturn in Capricorn. And so here we have our thoughts and our minds running up against Saturn, and Saturn is helping us to give structure to our thoughts. And in Virgo, we could be thinking too much and maybe wondering if we're doing the right thing. And Saturn and Capricorn can kind of come in and say, well, that seems pretty good. That's a good idea. Maybe you don't have to think about it anymore. Just make it happen now. And that could be what's going on Wednesday the 17th. And then Mars in Libra is going to go opposite again. Chiron in Aries, and then Eris in Aries. So we're really getting a lot of aspects of Chiron and Eris this whole week. So it's really, really massaging our egos to where we got to really just let it go, love ourselves, realize you're not perfect, and stand up for yourself, stand up for what you believe in. But it might be difficult to want to say things because Mercury's in Virgo. Even though it's exalted here, it can overthink and it's kind of shy to say things. It might not want to say anything at this time either. So we're dealing with this, and then on the 21st is going to be the eclipse. And by then, things are going to get closed out, whether you wanted to or not. Things are just scheduled to end karmically, especially with the South Node being involved in this eclipse. Ooh. So the universe is giving you guidance, is trying to show you how things could turn out, but it's really up to you and your willpower if you want to do that, if you think of doing that. If you're just learning about spirituality, you'll start to see that spirituality is really about learning who you are. And if you're not happy, figure out what that is. And a lot of times it starts with looking at yourself first if you're not happy, and then trying to make yourself happy by doing things that doesn't hurt other people. And that's what really spirituality is about, is being a part of a community and understanding we're all the same, we all want the same thing. And none of us wants to get shot and killed. None of us wants to go to war. None of us wants our children to starve. None of us wants our children shot in the school. So these are things that, if we can all understand it globally, cosmically, then there'd be no more wars and we can progress on with other things that we need to fix, like diseases, airborne diseases, people starving to death. Things like this shouldn't really be occurring anymore with the way we produce food in the world at this point in time. So there's a lot of imbalance that Pisces Virgo axis of the North and South Node really is here to heal these things that maybe are difficult in terms of looking at the truth. And so with the higher octave of Virgo, you are able to look at the truth. And then with Pisces, you can dissolve it. You can get rid of it. You can say it's not important. Just like this, it's just a cycle, it's a thing, it has to go. If it's meant to be, it'll come back in that next cycle. These are times where you will remember, because already it's completely crazy, the things that are happening. They're unprecedented. We've never been here at these exact points, but a lot of it is repeating history with just new players involved. But it's still the same thing. It's still mass murdering groups of people, causing genocide. It's still starving people. It's still assassinating people. It's still all the same things that we are going over and over again until we get it correct. And so if we don't get it correct now, by April, things are going to really heat up. And then it may be too late to stop the tanks from rolling down the street. So this is what we're really talking about in terms of astrology. Really want you to understand that these are stressful times. And also on the 17th, there's going to be a YOD, which is a long, thin triangle. And the YOD is Mars sextiling Venus. So Mars right now is in Libra. It's going to sextile Venus in Leo, forming the base, a very tiny base. And then Venus is going to quincunx Saturn up in Pisces. And then Mars is going to quincunx Neptune, making a little skinny YOD. And YOD is called the finger of God. So if you have YODs in your birth chart, it means the finger of God has touched your life. And they're very powerful, these triangles. So then Mercury is going to be quincunxing Eris and Chiron in Aries. So it doesn't stop this attack on our senses and what we believe we are, who we are, what we think our values are, what it is we think about and how we process that information, how we communicate that information, how we receive that information, how do we translate it. These are all the things that's happening right now until April. So you're not going to understand a lot of what's going on. You're going to want to do things, but there's not any energy to do that. So don't do that. As you can see, the energy in the world is very powerfully negative, meaning it is in the dark. It is death. It is not life. It is death. So this is the ending. This is dissolving time, and that's where Pisces really comes in and helps out, because Pisces can help us to believe in the spiritual nature of life, where we leave our bodies and we can come back and be reincarnated into another body or another animal or plant, whatever it is. So this is how we can look at the world as a circle of life, in terms of your life is never truly over because you have children. Your children is your representative on earth after you're gone also. So these are a lot of heavy duty questions to be thinking about these next couple of months and years to come. Because also on the 18th, Mercury will be entering Libra. So it's leaving its exalted sign of Virgo and enters Libra at 1:47 a.m. and immediately again, anything that enters Libra goes opposite of Saturn and Pisces. And then Neptune and Aries. So all these outer planets will constantly be getting all kinds of pings from every planet that is moving around, which is our personal sign. So if you can see it all working out, our personal sign moves around quickly, our emotions, our thoughts, our wants, and then Mars, our desires, and then Jupiter kind of is last one of our personal planets, but it takes a year to go around. And every time these personal planets move, they ping all these outer planets that are super powerful. And it's going to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on until we get it right. And hopefully we get it right in about 18 years. Everything is calmed down. But 18 years seems like a long time. Not everybody has patience for that, as we can see with the assassination yesterday of the conservative Kirk. There is no patience for what's going on. There is no meditation. There is no mindfulness of our actions, of our thoughts, of our intentions. Where should we be trying to help the world? Not through murder or war. It's never the answer. And until we can get to that point and understand it, we're always going to be drawing in fear. We'll bring in the aliens to us that we're afraid of, because we're so afraid we'll manifest it. So we should really try to manifest aliens coming to us that can come help solve our diseases, help us grow food easier for our people, learn how to live during the climate change of Earth, things like that. We should manifest those things, not murder and war and genocide and taking a piece of land and turning it into a country club, a casino. There's just things that we can have better. So then we get to the 19th, next Friday, when I will return with my weekly podcast. The grand air trine occurs with Libra, who is now hosting Mercury at 0 degrees, with Pluto at 1 degrees in Aquarius and 31 minutes of arc at 2:26 a.m. and then Uranus in Gemini at 12:52 a.m. So the grand air trine is a gift in terms of how do we communicate? How can we get rid of things through Pluto in Aquarius? How can we learn to communicate? How can we get together in a peaceful manner? With Uranus and Gemini, how can we up our game of communicating through writing, through newspapers, through books? How can we make that better? Something we really got to think about, right? Because today, 2 books got banned in the state of Florida in high school. And one of the board members read it, and she wasn't going to ban one of them, but after she had someone else read it, um, she decided she wanted to ban 2 because the sexual content in the book wasn't something she herself would ever read or go reach for in a bookcase for herself. So this is where we're talking about the Chiron Aris is to heal yourself, it's to love yourself. And when you love yourself, you love all parts of yourself. So if you want to say you've never thought about sex in a certain way, that's not really thinking about the collective, about other people that are not like you, that maybe have a different upbringing with their parents and their lives, and they need that book to help them understand that sex, whatever type of sex it isn't enough to satisfy you in life. And that is something that teenagers definitely could learn to read and understand more about, is that the consequences of sex and the obsession with sex as a teenager is a big deal. Everyone who's a teenager, if they can't admit they were obsessed with sex, then they're not being true to themselves and not healing themselves through Chiron. So again, banning books and taking the right of someone away to read something that could help them mature in such a way that they could become good adults. Uh, it's not really up to you. It's up to the child's parent if they should read that book or not. It's really not up to you. So, and then opposite, and then the Grand Air trine is going to go opposite of Neptune at 6 p.m. and 0 degrees also. So again, the Grand Air trine is going opposite of Neptune. This is a big deal again because Libra, Mercury is just recently entered into Libra, so Mercury is still kind of opposite of Neptune. So here we go, right again. It's delusion. It's thinking that what you think is more important than what other people think. It's not trying to help other people. It's trying to hurt other people, right? And then if you don't even know you're doing it intentionally, I seriously doubt that. So, Rick Levine says it like this: intellectual, self referential, self sufficiency with Neptune grounded by Saturn. The delusions are now being erased with Saturn in Neptune. Now we can see the truth and the facts of maybe years and years of conditioning by society or by our parents, maybe years and years of believing something is true because, just be happy and go along to get along, right? So now all of a sudden people are saying, wait, I didn't want that in my life. I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think I was going to lose my farm because there's no people to pick my fruits and vegetables. I didn't think my cows were going to, have to compete against other cows from other countries for beef. I thought we had the handle on beef. So there's all these delusional things that people thought were going to occur, but they didn't occur. And so now we are at that point of the eclipse season where the eclipse is so powerful, doors open and close, and they can help you or they can shut you out. So it's a very powerful time, and the assassination yesterday in Utah really shows the demented things that the planets can produce by these mixing of chemicals and energy that's coming into our atmosphere from the planets interacting with each other. And now we have a comet slash asteroid 3I Atlas coming in that we don't know what it's going to do. It's not like other ones that have come through. It's traveling through our atmosphere, our galaxy. So there's a lot going on that we've never seen, never heard, wouldn't even know what was going on, except for the internet helps us to know. So in using the internet, we are also using a lot of electric magnetic energy. And that is what the universe is made of, electric magnetic energy. So our energy in our galaxy has been ramped up tremendously with all the satellites orbiting us now and all the space junk orbiting us now. We have a lot of things going on that hopefully we should be careful what we wish for in terms of having aliens come and visit us. So we should be prepared for that. Because it will happen eventually. Maybe not this year, not this decade, not this century, but soon. Thank you so much for being here. After I took my week off to visit, hang out with my whole family in the Keys. We were in Marathon Key and we just hung around the beach. Didn't do too much. Took a lot of naps. Had a lot of food. Had a lot of fun playing games. I learned a new game called Catan, which is really fun. And saw some stuff. Went to our favorite places in the Keys that we've been going to since college spring break back in the 80s. So it was really nice to go back and see how much things have grown, where some things are still there. One resort we took our children to, Tranquility Bay Marathon, is still there. So that was really cool to see. But we're back, and now we are very blessed to be back. Our plants survived, the yard survived. My yard is thriving by itself, which is the goal. So I'm very happy about that. And I will start doing some more pictures of my garden soon. But I will be here next week again on the 19th, and we will be discussing this huge eclipse coming up on September 21st, which is the cusp between Virgo and Libra. And it's my oldest son's birthday, this very cusp. So 3 of us are born on cusp in my family. And 3 of us have a lot of placements in Capricorn, Gemini, and Virgo, and Sag. And my children represent each season. They were born in each season. All 4 seasons are touched. And so that's why I believe I went into astrology, because I started seeing visions and feeling, sensing things that were going to occur. And a lot of it has occurred. It's taken 10 to 20, 30 years to occur, but they have occurred. And so now I feel that I can call myself a psychic just because the feelings I have come true. And it's not like you see in the movies or anything like that. It's more of a flash of something in my mind. It's a picture, it's a flash. And then it usually occurs during a time where I have traveled and soaked up a lot of energy from the collective. And I'll get a flash of something, and I will look at my cards, my destiny cards, and I'll look at my tarot cards, and I'll look at and a lot of times it supports what I'm thinking. And then, like anything, you have to wait for the egg to hatch. And then you got to wait for the baby to walk, the baby to talk. And so, raising children really also heightened my energy, my abilities to feel and sense things. Because children are very open, and they're kind of, they kind of just give you information. And I've been called an antenna many times. Things have happened to me that are really strange, and so I accept it. I've done my Chiron work on healing the inner child and I accept that that's what goes on because my mom has psychic dreams and she doesn't always want to see those either, you know. So this is the way it goes. And thank you for being here. Thank you to my spiritual children for being around this past week and last week, talking about things. I really love you guys. I'm happy for you guys. And to everyone else, thank you for being here. And I will be here again next week. And I am Jody Sharami at astropod_cast. And you can find me wherever you stream your podcast. I will be there. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Bye.